this is really welcome, Lily. It's another addition to the efforts to bring more of our vacant and derelict properties back into use. And, we've seen in County Clare how successful the vacant and derelict property scheme has been, bringing so many properties in areas back into use as homes. The various iterations of it that expanded over the last couple of years have been hugely successful. So I suppose we all know, driving through our towns and villages, there are an awful lot of opportunities above the shop in a lot of towns and villages to bring them back into residential use. So it's really welcome to see the stepped offer of up to 140,000 made available, and that's going to be rolled out at the end of Q1 2026. So, and a real feature of it that I like is that it's bringing an opportunity for professional fees, because, as we know, bringing units above the shop can bring an awful lot of complexities around, fire safety and access and everything. So there's a €5,000 grant being brought and made available to engage professionals to advise.
Are you satisfied that €140,000 is sufficient in funding all of the work that needs to be done to bring a property from vacant status to residential level?
I think it's a very good offer. Like it's a grant, so the grant is going to be stepped in ways. So you have 95,000 available initially to bring properties into residential use were formerly commercial. So if you're bringing one unit, you get an additional 20,000, and if you're bringing another unit, the 2 units, you get another 20,000, and then the 5,000 on top of that brings it up to the 140,000. So it's a great help. It's going to be a great thing for towns and villages where we've seen an awful lot of buildings look in disrepair, and it costs an awful lot of money, as we know, to bring them back into use. So it really needs this financial boost and financial incentive to make it happen. And, alongside that, then we know that there are opportunities to look at engaging with SEAI and looking at, future-proofing the buildings as well and making them energy efficient. So there's an opportunity to add further funding to that, I believe. I really think it's a very good start. Like, you remember when the vacant and derelict property grant was initially brought in, it started off being 30,000 and 50,000. Costs have gone up an awful lot, so I think it's a great start, and it's certainly an over-the-top unit. It would certainly give me encouragement to engage professionals and start looking at it. And I think we'll see lights on in towns and villages over shops as a result. And I think aligned with a focus from the local authority and funding through like the town and village renewal and Clare funding to upgrade our towns and villages. I've been very passionate about this in the past, saying we need to make them really attractive and cool places to live. And alongside of that, I think we're going to see an evolution. It's an opportunity really for a revitalisation, I think, of our towns and villages and making them really vibrant and full of life with people living in them.
Are there specific areas within the county that you're aware of that require this grant to revitalise them?
Yeah, well, look, I think throughout the county we have various sites of towns and villages, like Kilrush springs to mind. A lot of dereliction from studies down the years. A town really waiting to come alive, and there's a great town centre first team and town centre plan being done for that. So I think this aligns with that, with like the Milltown Malbay, Innisdiamond and others. So, in the past we would have seen Section 23 tax incentives to tackle, town dereliction, and that was really successful in places. So this is a different way of coming at it, rather than giving tax incentives, which, I think have a place in this as well, and I think should be considered in the future, but I think this is a great start. I'd like to see that type of tax designation in Section 23 in a very targeted way looked at as well, because we look at particularly towns in Western North Clare where, we have an awful lot of tourism, and we need more. Our studies have shown that there's a shortage of tourism accommodation to leverage and take advantage of the visitors coming to the likes of the Burren and the Wild Atlantic Way. And I think there's more work to be done, and I'd like to see, an incentive to provide more of that accommodation along with these grants. I think there's more of it to be looked at that was successful careful that it's very targeted. But I think you will see the lights coming on in an awful lot of towns and villages as a result of this initiative, and I think we need to back it up at County Council and as tourism and other economic strategies by making sure that our towns and villages are really attractive places to live, and that'll revitalise the schools, it'll revitalise our sports teams, and I think it'll really provide the injection to revitalise particularly our rural towns and villages.
There has been controversy with the Vacant Property Refurbishment Grant, that it is awarded after the work is complete and within a certain time frame. Will this be the case with the Vacant Above the Shop grant?
And that has been an issue, and it's something that we've certainly lobbied and pushed back on the department to say you need to give people a little bit more space. And I would hope that will come. From our derelict sites team, led by Carmel Green in Clare County Council and others, that feedback is coming. You need to give people more of a breathing space, and I think there's another look that needs to be had as bridging finance, because that has been a barrier to a lot of people finding the money in the first place. So I think, and the department, I know from talking to Minister John Cummins, are looking at these things, and I think with the new housing action plan, I would like to think, and I believe that the direction is towards removing barriers rather than creating them, and I think that journey is being taken. So we know we have huge opportunities here, and we have huge need. We can see the take up of the derelict and vacant homes in County Clare and in West Clare and North Clare in particular has been fantastic, and it's been a potential investment of I think you're up on 50 million into property regeneration in Clare, and this is another iteration of it. And as you say, Lily, the removing of barriers is what I want to see happening, and those issues that you outlined are certainly there, and they are being looked at by the department, and we'll continue to pressurise them and to keep them informed from an in-practice experience that it's removing barriers we need to do. And you'll see the lights coming on an awful lot quicker when you do that, and you'll see people, being incentivised to take the leap.